Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The recitation today is the 19th Pauri stanza from Rag Gujari, composed by the 5th Nanak Guru Arjan. It consists of 2 saloks and the Pauri. The recitation of the saloks followed by the Pauri. Salok Mahalla Panjama Jivadia na Chetio Muar Landado Khak Nanak Duniya Sang Gudaria Sakat Mood Napak Mahalla Panjama Jivandiya Har Chetya Marandiya Har Rang Janam Padarth Tarya Nanak Sadhu Sang Pauri Aad Jugadi Aap Rakhan Walya Sach Naam Kartar Sach Pasarya Una Kahi Na Hoye Katte Kat Sarya Meherwan Samarath Ape Hi Kalya जिन मन उठा आप सो सदा सुखालिया आपे रचन रचाए आपे ही पालिया सब किश आपे आप बेअंत अपारिया गुरपूरे की टेक नानक संभालिया सब किछ आपे आप बेअंत अपारिया गुरपूरे की टेक नानक संभालिया. So in this passage what we find is a contrast being drawn between the so-called sakat, Duniya sang gudarya sakat mood napak. The sakat is mood, foolish, not fully conscious actually. Napak has no clarity. Napak is without purity, that means without clarity. So the contrast is between the sakat, who Jivandiya na Chetio Mua Ralandaro Khak, who is not conscious or lacks consciousness of the self, versus a Gurmukh who is mindful of the Har self while alive, and for the Gurmukh, dying becomes an enactment of love, Marendeya Har Rang. And the Gurmukh is the one who's actually made a success of life. That's the key here. Janam Padarth Tarya Nanak Sadhu Sang. So you see what the Guru is saying is, look, when we die, Jivandiya na Chetio Mua Ralandaro Khak, when we die, Mua, the body mingles with dust. Ralandaro Khak. But a sakat is dead even while alive. That's the point being made, because it lacks consciousness. It's not aware. It's not self-aware, self with a capital S. It is not aware that it is grounded in this consciousness. This lack of awareness is what Guruji calls mood napak, not fully conscious. Nanak Duniya Sang Gudarya. So, foolish, lacking in purpose, life is spent entangled in worldly affairs, which we are all entangled in, but without conscious purpose or awareness. That's the difference. That's the difference being culled out in these 2 saloks. And in the Pauri, the Guru explains, what does it mean to be Guru guided? or Guru wisdom being our anchor, or the Gurmukh's anchor. In other words, how to live life. So the first few lines in the Pauri establish for us what is reality. We have to understand the reality we live in. So what is that reality? What is the self that we are talking about, which is consciousness, absolute consciousness? The self is grounded in absolute consciousness. So reality is that this self is Aad Jugadi Aap Rakhan Walya. It is the primal first, Aad. It is the origin at the very beginning, Jugad. Aad Jugadi Aap itself. Rakhan Walya, it is the protector. So this self is all pervasive in time and in space. It is Sach Naam Karatar, Sach Pasarya. It is eternal. Its wisdom is eternal. And it is the cause. It is the first cause. And it expands. What we see around us is eternal. And una kahi na hoye, there is no such place where the self is not. It is not deficient in any way. Ghate ghat sarya. It is in everything. So essentially, this self, which is consciousness itself, governs and operates in everything. So you understand the reality you're in. And this reality, this consciousness is also merciful and all-capable. Meherwan Samarath. How is it merciful and all-capable? It hasn't just thrown us to the winds or to the fire. It actually exerts itself through all of its creatures. It has given all creatures a sliver of its essence. Meherwan Samarath Ape hi kalya. So don't think that you've been abandoned. No, you haven't. The self is operating within you. The problem is you're asleep to that fact. But jin man vutha aap se sada sukhalya. If you realize this, the mind in which this realization dawns, namely that this self is the primal being, that it's the original, that it is the protector, that it is eternal, that there is no place where it isn't, that it is actually merciful in the sense of being in us and operating through us. If that realization dawns upon you, Jinmanavutta, then that mind is always at peace, in harmony. Sada Sukhalya, then there's nothing to worry about. Then further on, understand this as well. Ape rachan rachai, ape hi palya. Rachan rachai, rachan is to design, to construct, to bring forth, to create, to assemble. The self brings about the natural order. It assembles it, if you will, and then sustains it. Ape hi palya. Sab kish ape aap beant aparya. All that is manifest, sab kich, is a self-expression of the self. Consciousness is expressing itself to itself. Beautiful. Ape aap. And this self, this consciousness is beant, without end. It is aparya. It is beyond boundaries. There are no boundaries. Gurupure ki tek Nanak samhalya. With the guidance of the perfect Guru, the teachings of the Guru, one becomes aware. One becomes aware that we are all grounded in this self. That is the instruction of the Guru, in the nature of the self. And we begin to realize that we are all grounded in the same consciousness. and we awaken to that consciousness, and we begin to cultivate creative responses to life. So essentially, a successful life, Janam Padarat Tarya Nanak Sadhu Sang, success is not measured by material wealth or external achievements, but by the quality of one's experience. The purpose of life, then, is to create a harmonious and a delightful experience, regardless of one's external circumstance. It is not dependent. So what do we create in life? We create a pleasant, delightful experience. When I say delightful, I mean zestful, I mean complete. If you remember, we talked about embracing life in its entirety, with its highs and its lows, understanding that it is the self at work. Enjoy it. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.